Yes.
All right. Let me start like this. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet all of you. And I'm not here to impress this. I'm just here to help as much as I can. And permit me to start by appreciating the convener. He's someone I've always admired for the longest, and his passion and vision to help others through these things he does is something I haven't seen myself. This when I see people doing it, I really like to appreciate it. But anyway, let me start by saying that I think sometime in the Hungarian parliament, one of the members of parliament had said that he spoke last eventually, like they were having a debate, and then he was saying that everything had been said by everyone, but not by me. So I'm in a similar position. A lot of the first three speakers have literally said everything, but I haven't said it. So I'll just just re-echo what they've been saying. But on the other hand, I'm going to take it a bit further. So you can observe my screen. It says graduate role sponsorship or something more. So they have to the best they can, told you how to go about getting the graduate role. So I'll share a bit of how I got mine, but then I'm going to probe your mind a bit further to, take you much further than where you are now or where you think you should be now, basically. So my slides are quite scanty. So it just starts with introduction, interview preparation, and I have like a follow-up question there or a statement there. So hope is a discipline, settling into the role, what sets you apart, career growth tips rather, the Lindy effect. I'll conclude and then we can have the Q&A. So I'm going to put a face to it. Please don't look at my picture. Please don't judge me. But basically, I'm doing this because a lot of the speakers have spoken about their roles. But a lot of times when people are in presentations, they don't have a visual effect of what they're actually there for. So I put it there so you can see that I'm actually this is my role and this is where most of you are going to be like in better roles or anything, but basically this was one of the days when I got into office, and then I was trying to build my LinkedIn profile, and I told a colleague to just take a picture of me. So it's not on my LinkedIn, so if you check my LinkedIn, you'll not see, but anyway, I had to put it there. So my name is Alfred. Nigerian as well. I was a beneficiary of the PTDF scholarship, like the first three speakers, and I did my best to, go through school. It was an adult task, but I studied a combined master's. It was a civil engineering and construction management. It was really tough, but thank God I graduated well. Anyway, so like Sophia had highlighted, I had taken told that path. I had also started applying to graduate roles before I graduated, and fortunately for me, taking advantage of the career center like Lily also spoke about, I had started optimizing my CVs, and I'd also met a senior colleague in church. I had found out that he was a civil engineer, so I spoken to him, and he had told me to meet him personally, and I was able to also use his help to optimize my CV before then, to continuously keep sending it out anyway. So basically, one thing I did personally that perhaps I should share is that, so if I apply to a couple of roles and I don't get any feedback, a lot of times you probably get rejection emails. So that's normal. But if I get only rejection emails for a full month, what I do is I go back to that CV. I can't send that CV again because, again, for the last month, I've gotten only rejection. So what makes it different? I have to change something. So that's what I do. So like anytime I send CVs, like maybe you could say, maybe if you make 20 applications and all of them have been rejected, go back again and change something, because obviously it's not working, right? So change something and perhaps you get an interview. So basically what I did was, I think it was like every month. So every month I review all the applications I've sent. Was it all rejections? I go back, I change something. Remember, I was going in between the senior colleague at church and then the career center. So I eventually started getting interviews. So obviously it started working a bit. So I got, let me just try and summarize this. I got a couple of interviews that were really good. There was this one where I felt like I had almost gotten the job, because at the interview stage, it became a conversation. It was like a parley. So basically, the man also liked geography and politics, and I love those things. So we started after, like, he had just asked me a couple of questions about the job, and I was a site engineer back in Nigeria. So more or less what I was explaining was my personal experience on site. So my questions were more or less practical, and he could tell that I had the practical knowledge. So we just delved into a different topic, and we both enjoyed the conversation because he did take my number anyway. And then eventually, it just so happened that one of the projects they were pursuing didn't come through in time, and there was a limitation with regards to my passport because they needed to travel and stuff like that. So they just had to take a smaller number of staff, but that's besides the point. Fast forward to when I got so this role I'm working in. I was doing a part-time job when I was a student, obviously. So I'd gotten a call. I can't even remember the day I sent that particular application because again I was sending a lot. So I'd gotten a call like midday, and they told me if I was ready to have an interview the following day. Like there was literally no time to prepare. So I was like, oh fine, I will do it. So I'd already gone in between the career center thing, and I think Sophie and Lily had also highlighted it that they will help you prepare for interviews as well. So please take advantage of those things. If I'm speaking too fast, please someone can indicate so I can slow down a bit because sometimes I know I can speak a bit fast. So eventually I had then prepared for the interview. I just went to the company's website and read through it. Like again, like I said, these people have said everything, so I'm just re-echoing what they've said. So I went to the company's website. I checked their projects. I tried to acclimatize myself with what they were doing and how I could be of help. So basically, when the interview started, I had two sets of interviews for this company. So I then again the questions were a bit direct, but I had the mindset that you know what, eventually someone will have to say yes. Do you get what I mean? Like it's a matter of when. I had always believed in myself that all this I'm passing through was like a stage that I just feel like I would eventually succeed. So that was my mindset. So whatever day happened, it will eventually happen. I wasn't really concerned about, okay, would it be this interview or the next one? I didn't let that bother me. So I was asking the questions directly and using the star approach like the previous speakers had also iterated. And I was, the first interview was okay. I couldn't tell if I really impressed them. But eventually, I then got a call and they said that would I like to have a second interview? So I was like, perhaps I must have made an impression on them the last time, over the last interview. So this time they had then added a new face to the interview. So it was like the design manager guy, and I could tell he was very brilliant because he asked me very specific questions. And this time I wasn't even, again, the preparation was basically what I was seeing from the company website, but he asked me stuff about how I could solve a particular problem. He said, so basically like they were laying cables somewhere, and then was asking me that, okay, if I come into the site today, like what would I do to get the job moving? So again, thank God I had done some site engineering job in Nigeria. So I was just trying to explain to the best of my knowledge how I'd have gone about it if I were the project engineer on site. So like I said, I was not, they are human beings. I think Lily had highlighted this, that and they are human beings, approach them as human beings and then smile. Don't show that you are too that you're tensed. Just tell them what I always tell people is if you're the one being interviewed, right, and you want to make an impression, it's not about using heavy words or making using tropes that sound perhaps catchy. The thing is, if the roles were reversed, would you hire yourself? Do you get what I mean? So like if someone is interviewing me, the way I speak, I'm assessing myself while I'm speaking. If I was on the other side of the table, would I hire myself? That's what if I feel like I would hire myself, then I'm doing well. If I feel like I won't hire myself, because I hold myself to very high standards. So if I won't hire myself, then I'll just be like, I don't think I'll get this job. Anyway, so after a couple of weeks, they called me and then they told me that I got in the job, and I was really happy. But then I think it's something that Sophia mentioned. She was able to. I actually asked them anyway that I'm obviously I'm on a student visa. I'll need sponsorship. So I think it was during that second call, that I passed passed that message across. But then when I got the call, I then still explained to them that, look, I'm on a student visa. Would I get sponsorship? I didn't want to just be happy about the job and then hear that they were not going to sponsor. So perhaps, like Sophia said, you should, be bold enough to tell them, look, I'm on a student visa and I'll actually need sponsorship. So you can actually filter out the jobs, because you could realize that maybe a job doesn't really want to offer a sponsorship, but they're telling you they'll give you the job, and then before you know, there's a back and forth and you feel heartbroken later. So it's quite important that you pass that across eventually on time. So anyway, perhaps I should just add this part. So what sets you apart is this is one of like my favorite slides when I was creating this. So I think personally, I hold myself to very high standards. And like I said that excellence is a personal thing, because I don't know, perhaps there are other people like who feel this way, that they expect it of themselves. If I do something right and it's not as excellent as I feel it should be, I'll definitely go back and do it again and again until I get it. So even in my speech, even when I'm doing these interviews, the way I speak to people, I hold myself to very high standards. So I'm quite clear in my speech. So please, when you're speaking, it's always good to have a mastery of what you're saying, right? For instance, if you're someone like me that has a passion for perhaps philosophy and stuff like that. So like if you're going to use quotes to explain something, let it be related to, if you're going to answer the question, look, again, you're not there to impress per se. You're there to make them hire you. So if what you say is not good enough for you to hire yourself, then I don't think you're doing a good job. Do you get what I mean? So like what I think you should do during the interview stage, which you will then take with you to the job or the role, is that you need to optimize and always aim for excellence. It's very important. So, and perhaps that's something I feel like, a lot of times when people say that what's obvious is not really said enough. So I just wanted to beat that drum again. So perhaps it's something that, again, the previous speakers had spoken about. They said, so a lot of things you say, again, they're human beings, like, right? So they may not necessarily, like Carl Buchner said here, that they may forget what you said, but never forget how you made them feel. Speak to people, speak to them, like human beings, be kind, be intentional about your speech, pick your words carefully, and make them feel like you are a team member. I think that was something I did. In most of the answers I gave, I was trying to, obviously it was like hypotheticals, right? But I was trying to make a scenario where I was working with the team. So I will make the interviewers feel like they were working with me. Do you get what I mean? So like it's very important that you make them feel like you are someone who can work with the team, because it's actually good, perhaps in construction anyway. It's like teamship. I mean, you can't do it alone. So if you add someone who has that team spirit and people can actually see and feel it, then most likely you're going to, be one of those aspirants who is likely to be shortlisted anyway. So I think one thing I should also highlight is that the UK job market is a bit dicey, but it doesn't mean that there are still not a lot of success stories out there. So if you can, this is like a fun table I put together anyway, and the references are there. But if I can just speak about the competition rule, you can see that there are roughly 100 to 140 applications per graduate role, and you just have to find a way to stand out, right? You need to show them that you're an excellent person. It helps you anyway, because obviously not everyone is excellent. You need to show them that you have something that others don't have, right? So it's not just about applying. What makes your CV stand out? What makes this interview they just had with you stand out? That's what you should be willing to pass across. And perhaps you might want to, again, I like to work with numbers. I like statistics, basically. So even try to check, okay, in the last 6 months or 2 years, what city has hired the most graduates? What firm, what industry has hired the most graduates? Perhaps you could tailor your CVs to those areas. It's a trick that you could, it could actually work for anyone. You might want to try it. So just try and follow the news as well, follow the trends, and just a man will meet his luck. Eventually, you might stumble on something that works for you. You mustn't necessarily be the course you studied. again, you're trying to get in. Once you get in, it's about settling into the role and then building yourself up from there. So it's something that's if you've read if any of you have read I think it's Skin in the Game by Nassim Taleb. He mentioned something about the Lindy effect. So basically, I summarize it into saying, like, the longer something has existed, the more likely it is to continue existing. And basically, I think what I'm trying to do with this particular presentation is to help. Again, I'm in the system now, I mean, thank God, but it's beyond me. It's not just about me being in the system. It's about bringing the next set of graduates into the system, right? So if I can last long in this system, then I can get the necessary experience to bring those behind me to last long, to get into the system and still last long in the system. So I think most of the things I'll just be sharing a couple of things I've noticed while having been in the role. I've noticed that because I've actually, like Lily has, I think Lily said she had been in situations where she was also part of interviews. So I haven't been part of interviews, but I've actually seen where interviews were being held. And these are the things that I picked out from those situations anyway, that companies are not just hiring for immediate needs. They want to invest in people who can last and grow the business. So basically, they are looking for people who feel like they have, it's like having a stake in the business. If you have shares in the business, obviously you would want to, give your best to the business. So they want to see people that are willing to give their best. It's not about, it's okay to say, okay, I'm going to come to work on time, I'll leave on time, but they need to see that extra grit that says, okay, you know what, this company, maybe it's probably, the revenue is probably £100 million, and I want to move it to £500 million. If you can, itemize, or in your interviews, if you can bring out those statements that make the interviewers feel like you are part of the system and you have a long-term view or goal for the company, then it's definitely going to stand you out anyway. So that's one thing I've observed. And I've always said that when you're now in the system, you need to build skills that have last trends, because tools like software, or core skills like tools like software mostly, yeah, because I've been more exposed to a couple of CAD softwares anyway. But basically, my point is, technical skills and software may change, but then the courses like communication, problem solving, and reliability are things that they are definitely looking out for. So as much as you are presenting yourself to be one of the best candidates out there, like in terms of technical capacity, they need to see that, look, whether I like it or not, the reason your manager might not necessarily do as much work as you're doing, but the reason why he's your manager, because he knows how to aggregate the team and work with the team. So those soft skills are also very, very necessary. So when you get into the role, I think when I got into mine, we had something called like a competency matrix. So like it was an Excel sheet where everyone had like their competencies, like your certifications and qualifications. So yes, I was a graduate, so like I had my boxes were just the boxes that were ticked under my name were like very few. But then I had sat down personally and then I looked at those necessary qualifications that I could get over the next 6 months. And I itemized them, and I took them to my line manager and told them, okay, this was my plan to get this done. I was proactive, right? You know what I mean? So like eventually he saw that I was trying to grow myself. I was not just I wasn't waiting for them to tell me, okay, this is how you go. Take the initiative, build yourself, build those skills. But obviously, like the problems, if you're going to solve problems, you need the skill, right? You need, in construction anyway, like as I believe would be in other sectors. If I'm going to be if I'm going to be an operations director, I need to first know how to manage projects. I need to know, because there are a lot of qualifications that you need to work on site here in the UK. There's a very big gap between how it's done here and how it's done back home. Like there are so many. I'm not even half done with the qualification. So like, you need to be proactive. You need to know how to. If you're going to see, it's one thing to say, I want to solve the problem. How are you going to go about it? Like I think earlier I put the Seneca quote that said that the wind that is blowing will, if you don't know your direction, the wind that's blowing will probably just take you anywhere. And it's not really favorable to you. You need to have a pathway in your head. Every day, this is where you need to know, you need to have a mental roadmap. And how am I going to get there? It's very important. So you need to build that. Again, remember I told you it's about lasting long in the system. So it's about more or less like the thing that Nicholas Nassim Taleb said, it's not about explaining what you want to do. You need to actually get it done. To get what I'm saying. So like we have a lot of people, and that's why sometimes when I listen to motivational speeches, I'm like, how many companies does this get actually built? If you say you want to become, so when I how do I say this now? So initially I told them that look, I intend to get to the operations director level, right? And it was just, like a mental roadmap in my head. But it's not just something I said. And now I am personally trying to build myself. So I have a mental roadmap, like I said. I have a set of competency skills I am trying to build to get there. So they need to see, they will not come and do this for you. You need to do it yourself and then show them that, okay, this is where you're going to. And then they will just come along and help you anyway if you have if you're fortunate to have very wonderful team members. So getting to the closing stages now. So what is your life blueprint is just I think it's something everyone should take from the presentation. This is a very interesting quote by Derek Sivers. He said, mastery is the best goal because the rich can't buy it, the impatient can't rush it, the privileged can't inherit it, and nobody can steal it. You need to be a master at what you do. Recently, there was a problem with, not necessarily a problem, but like there was a deliberation about changing a cable alignment. Changing the cable alignment for one of the jobs we're doing. And I'm not even working on that portfolio project, but they needed someone to use a particular software to like change it and show the profile direction. And somebody, like I said, people need to know that you can do stuff. You need to be a master at what you're doing. So somebody had mentioned that Fred can do it. So they brought it to me, and I did make a promise that okay, I'll get it done in like 2 days. And the guy was like, okay, fine. He's expecting to hear from me. And obviously in those 2 days I got it done. But it's not just about getting it done. I got it done so well that it was much easier for him to make his decision or take it to those higher up. So you need to be able to take some work from the plate of others. You need to be it's about mastery anyway, because competence will get you noticed, but reliability will get you remembered. How was I remembered? I had done a couple of things that were not necessarily in my portfolio for others, and I did it well. So that's how my name keeps coming up. And as long as my name keeps coming up, I'm relevant. So I'm building myself to last longer. Show up early. If you remember the first picture, the picture in the office I showed you, if you notice, there was no one in the office. It was just me and another colleague who comes early. So show up early is very important. People need to know that they can count on you to be there when you need to be there. Do what you say you're going to do. If you're going to make promises about getting the job, then get the job done. If you can't get the job done, there's no why are you in the role? Like they should probably just get someone else, right? Be easy to root for. If you're a master at the game, everyone can root for you confidently because they know you can get things done. Learn beyond your job description. This is perhaps one of the finest tricks in the game. Personally, I take it upon myself to learn things that are outside my scope. I'm not learning it because I want to take on another person's job. No, I'm learning it because it makes me an invaluable tool. And it's something that perhaps you need to show some of these skills in the interview too. So you can explain during your interview, right, that you got this job done, and then maybe in trying to get the job done, you had helped somebody who had, maybe someone had a lapse, and then you came into play, you assisted him. These are things that these are like soft skills that people are looking out for, and that the interviewers are looking out for, because again, they are human beings. Maybe they too will err maybe on a particular project, and they need to know that there's someone out there that can help them who is part of the team, and will not try to bond them in public or say that he helped them. So learn beyond your job description and make sure that you're approachable. So even if someone messes up on his part, can they approach you and say, Fred, can you correct this for me? Be approachable is very important. It's a soft skill that you need to learn. So please, like, I think Sophia and Lily was really smiling. Smile like them. It's very important. Maybe I don't smile that much, but it's very important that you smile. And this one, the wow factor thing is also something that maybe people don't notice them, but I do notice it. Always leave room for surprise. Exceed expectation when it matters. If someone gives you a job, please go back to it and do it thoroughly. Look, you're in your early stages. Do it thoroughly. Like, do it so well that they have no reason to complain about it. It's about excellence. You need to make it personal. So let me just, on a lighter note, let me end by saying the only career advice I can give you right now is that make every decision that moves you closer to not having to be on LinkedIn. Look, when I read some things on LinkedIn, I'm like, what? Like I can't even do this in the next 5 years. But perhaps they're exaggerating anyway. But LinkedIn scares me. Do you get what I'm saying? So a lot of times I always tell myself every day I need to make conscious decisions that take me away from LinkedIn so that I don't want to actually need to have to go back to LinkedIn to start looking for a job with people that are like 10 years ahead of me. So no. I make decisions for the next 10 years, right from today. It's not just next look. If the people who are close to me know I'm a very tactical person. I take my time to do my stuff and I do it well. So please, when you get into the role, you need to be a master. You need to be very reliable. Because at the end of the day, everyone discovers that competence is the only source of self-esteem. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, oh, I'm a good civil engineer, I'm a good project manager, but can you really get it done? That's what matters the most. Do you understand? Because that's how you move from just getting a job to building a career. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end for me. So that's my LinkedIn and that's my Gmail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alfred, for such a wonderful presentation. Interestingly, at the end of your presentation, you're talking about moving away from LinkedIn and then still sharing your LinkedIn handle to us. And then someone commented just after you talked about LinkedIn that LinkedIn is a ghetto. Interestingly, Fred, while he in his presentation made some points which I would like to highlight and put under emphasis. I mean, he talked about always having direct and transferable skills handy and being able to sincerely communicate what you think when a question arises in an interview and other places. Um, some mentality he built and which would it would be good if we all take up is you will eventually be accepted. So just keep at it. Um, Keep note of trends, location, patterns, news, statistics, and use them to your advantage. Build skills that outlast trends, very important, and always show evidence of being a team player.